So, like, I was when we were originally looking at, like, you know, people, like, I don't remember who mentioned it to me. They're like, we're gonna play all Asian gods or characters in Smite, and I went, cool. I don't own any of those. I own Cthulhu and Jormungandr. And like Cthulhu we sort of touched on, right? And that Cthulhu is an interesting addition to a group of like mythologies that existed and weren't just like clearly made up to sell a bunch of books. Like as far as I can tell, like I don't think people like there isn't the same level of like cultural significance in that same way for Cthulhu to exist in this place here. But when we were looking at it, I was like, wait a minute, hold on. Because I think the original thing somebody mentioned to me was that we were all going to play gods from our particular like cultural backgrounds, and I went, cool. That's tricky, because I'm Filipino American, and there's not a lot. Filipino mythology is tricky to find sources on pre-colonialism, pre-colonization, and a lot of it has sort of incorporated a lot of colonial elements since and has now become this new thing that is like the new version of it. And so I was like, okay, well, I guess the closest thing I have to it really is Jormungandr, the World Serpent, because there is a like aesthetically similar god in Filipino mythology, Bakanawa, and but even then, like I don't know a crap ton about Bakanawa because like my parents didn't they grew up, you know, Roman Catholic Christian with a little bit of Filipino flavor thrown in, and that is I didn't learn a lot about Filipino mythology from them. So the only thing I know that connects these two is they're both big snakes, right? Yep. And they're both like world serpents in like a vague sense. Jormungandr a bit more literally, but Bakanawa is like attributed with earthquakes and eclipses and rain and wind and all these other things. And so the tricky part of it was like, okay, well, you know, even if I wanted to play this game with the idea that okay, cool, let's all pick something from our own personal cultural heritage, I can't really do that. No. For twofold reasons. One, right, is that there isn't any Filipino cultural myths or mythology in this game already, so I can't do that. And even then, the culture that we do have, which is very heavily influenced by, you know, like Roman Catholicism and that mythology, Smite has officially been like, we're not going to put those in. And I'm like, well, that's kind of awkward for me specifically, isn't it? Which is super wild. And that's kind of a fascinating part to come to terms with for something like this, where I'm like, okay, the closest I can get is an approximation with a different name, right? Like, there's that layer where you can pick something that's from your cultural legacy that has the same name, but it's not the thing, you know, or it's not like, you know, how it is actively done. It's very clearly like it's a MOBA god, right? Like it's got abilities and it has to do a punchy punch, and that's kind of, you have to put that sort of framework on it to do that. Whereas, and there's that extra level of the closest I have is this analog with poison that has nothing to do with this thing, but aesthetically it's as close as I can get to it, even though it has a different name. Yeah, which is a fascinating sort of thing to sit with, I think.
Totally. Yeah. I feel like a little bit here because I'm Vietnamese Canadian, and there is zero Vietnamese representation in Smite, which when I started playing Smite, I was like, it didn't even register with me because I'm so used to not seeing any Vietnamese representation. In fact, it was so easy for me to just slide into like identifying as Chinese and like using that as like my Smite identity, because that's actually a very common Vietnamese way to kind of view your own identity, which is kind of like an offshoot of like Chinese. So that's how I kind of navigated through Smite. And it's interesting that we're talking about kind of our own identities and how our identities, even how we play Smite and how we read Smite and consume it, still echoes those like things that we hold very, very close to us.
Yeah. and it touches on the thing that I kind of want to get back to, because we touched on it a little bit, right? But there is this dynamic between, you know, like this like company making a thing for profit and being able to make something in the scope of something that is very personal to the person making it, which is why, like, for example, like one of my favorite things is gonna be like it's a shonen take on authors and writers. If you watch anime, it's called Bungo Stray Dogs, and it basically is, okay, so what if we took a bunch of authors throughout history, divorced them from all of that context, took their name, like their names and the books they wrote, and used that to inform pretty like bare structure shonen protagonists, and then tossed them all into you know, like post, like I want to say like a little bit like weird like time anachronism, like the equivalent of like steampunk Victorian like London if you're in like Yokohama. But then like fast forward a little bit so that there's cars and trains. I'm like, I don't fucking whatever. Like, I don't know enough about the history to really touch on that. But what they did was they said, okay, let's do that, and then you can play with these people, like, because the expectation isn't like this is not going to be realistic whatsoever, because none of these people exist at the same time, and they all have superpowers based on their books. Okay, fine, I'll take it. But it was an interesting thing to think about, because it meant that like it opens this really interesting opportunity for me, at least, to be like, okay, so if I played a game using this, I can say, all right, why doesn't everybody who's in this game take an author from your own legacy and do it in this style? Because it means that, like, one, I'll learn authors I've never heard of, which is always great. If I play with the more diverse that cast gets, the more it is likely I will run into people I've never read, which is, you know, outside of the Western dead white dude pantheon of classical English literature, which we learn in school for some fucking reason. There's like that, and then it also means I had to look up authors with that kind of impact in my own country, because I'm not from the Philippines, right? Like I have that sort of like mapping, but my culture is very much like Asian American leaning frat bro white dude internet, because that's what I grew up on, and it's taken a lot of work to sort of unpack from there. But I mean, I had to go look up and find people that I'd be like, okay, how cool would that be if this was what I could see happen in this silly show and anime style, which is kind of why I'm personally a little bit more lax on I'm okay with bastardized representation to a point, as long as it's kind of done equally. But like you have to do that. Like you can't just say that. You can't just say we treat everyone badly with the same power dynamic of you, like, you know, cherry picking all the things that you find cool. But like I'm okay with someone saying, I would like to take this thing and do it, and I'll be like, cool, we're gonna put it in this framework where we all understand that this is not going to be remotely accurate. And this is the problem I have with Smite, is that a lot of the things in this are accurate, and which makes the parts where they very clearly aren't extremely noticeable. Like Cthulhu is quite possibly the most accurate representation of Cthulhu in a video game you're going to see in something this MOBA-esque.
I would say,
which puts it next to somebody like again, like Sailor Amaterasu is just like
yeah, let's pull that up, because we talked about it, and
yeah,
right. So like,
and I would like
that's
to
not the
say,
Sailor
if,
one.
If we're talking
yeah.
if we're talking about like representation in something like Smite, should also point out there that like I was super excited when they announced the Japanese pantheon was coming.
Yeah.
That they were going to do, well, first of all, they didn't call it Shinto, they just called it Japanese.
Sweet God, what is that?
And then there was
this is one of the Amaterasu skins.
Deep fear that things like this would happen. And it's like this is something that's important to me. It's exciting to see it widely like picked up and shared, but then how are they going to do that? And so the original like Amaterasu
also like
skin, solid, and her abilities are based around her mythology. Cool. Why is she now a blue-eyed blonde maid?
Yep.
What about this vampire?
You could just like, and that's the thing. I think one of the things I really like about this is going to be a slightly interesting statement I'm going to say here, because I'm like 99%. I stand 99% behind it, but there's parts where I will lose out.
Okay.
The aesthetics of a game like League of Legends, where they do this kind of like big skin line like nonsense, where they'll like take, you know, sort of AU versions of these characters, works a little better because one, most of them aren't real, and two, when they make a theme for it, they commit to making it still feel like those characters in that particular theme.
Yeah.
Whereas like French Maid of Amaterasu was like, what even?
Well, these are literally skins, and League, they are integrating the skin into the world and the event that is happening.
Yeah.
Right.
And with this Amaterasu thing, they're just like, Japanese woman. Things I know about Japan. Maid cafes.
Right.
Well, fan service and these manga tropes.
I mean, even if you look at the vampire one and you think about like our understandings of vampires in pop culture, it's like, cool, she's a vampire, and then one of her key items is a mirror.
Yep.
Like that's
it's like
so you've come up with a problem here.
So if I can ask for a little bit more emotional labor, Emma, because I hear this a lot when I talk about this kind of stuff on Twitter and discourse and things like that. It's where it's kind of like, it's just for jokes. Like you're taking it way too seriously.
Right.
And I can see where they're coming from. Like I, as Steve, can be like, okay, it is, if I didn't know anything else and identify as Japanese and like I just saw this picture, I'd be like, hilarious. It's a French maid and like it is a meme. It's a trope.
Right.
But if you were to hear that, like, how do you feel about those kind of statements?
My reaction to that lately has been, these memes and tropes are then being like perpetuated into real life. Like it's not just a joke. And it's hard for me not to see this as something that is being thought about me and other Japanese women.
Yes.
And I also get a lot of questions about this. They're like, oh, first of all, they'll point out I don't look Japanese. They'll put me in my place in that way. But then they'll be like, what's up with like maid cafes or girls in school uniforms and that aspect of Japanese like pop culture? It'd be like, great. So I am simultaneously not Japanese enough, but also the bearer of all Japanese knowledge. Cool. This is great.
Yeah.
And telling me that it's just for fun, it's like saying something's just a joke. It doesn't make it less harmful. It doesn't make it less hurtful. And it's kind of like brushing off any of the issues that are surrounding it. And I think I said earlier, but I don't know how much, because we were playing a game, I don't think I elaborated, but it particularly bothers me that this is an American company doing this. It's not a Japanese company playing around with Japanese gods and how they're represented, because that happens a lot. I think the added layer of the fact that Hi-Rez is an American company doing this with Asian bodies and Asian femme bodies really has a different tone. It lands differently.
Yeah.
And like, that whole idea that she was too serious, so we have to make her fun, so we're going to make her kawaii, raise the pitch of her voice, put her in a cutesy outfit and have her singing little songs. I'm like, that's...
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, and I think that brings it to, like, I just pulled up some Nuwa skins, and there's literally like an Easter bunny, like Playboy bunny, Nuwa skin, and if you click on it and you go to the intro animation, she literally shakes her ass,
wiggles her
screen.
tail.
Yeah.
And here's what bothers me is she doesn't need to be a Playboy bunny, because I love that her clay soldiers are peeps.
Yeah.
You know those marshmallow.
They're candy.
I find that hilarious. So like they kind of ruined part of it while making something kind of funny.
Yeah, I mean,
but
like,
then also maybe her clay soldiers shouldn't be peeps, and that's just me being like, I don't know, not sensitive to.
I think
I think there are parts of like Nuwa that like I think could be good, and then they did poorly. Like I think they did a really good job. They do a really good job in the art, particularly with like the amethyst Nuwa skin from the bottom down, where she looks like a serpent, which is Nuwa in Chinese mythology and culture. But then when you actually go to the character, she's not wearing any clothes. She's just wearing cloth, right? And I think the thing that we should be talking about is one of the major problems with this is that we don't have people who are advocating for these design decisions or these character inclusions on the Hi-Rez team, right? There could be a ton of people shouting and being really loud on the internet, but if nobody's actually working for Hi-Rez and making these decisions, it's very unlikely that these things are going to happen, right? And I mean, we've seen companies try to do better. And I know like Blizzard is not a good company. And like be straight up there, Blizzard is not a good company, but they listened to fans when they were talking about different kinds of bodies in Overwatch and different kinds of characters, and they started trying to introduce more diversity into Overwatch. And so I think Blizzard is at least trying to do a little bit better. Like we play a lot of Rainbow Six Siege, and Rainbow Six Siege is interesting because for the most part, they try to be really respectful about characters from different countries because they're talking about contemporary cultures. But there's this thing that we're still seeing, and it's how they portray Asian characters, particularly Asian women in these games. All right, we've seen like the really, really bad examples here, but it can be subtle in other games like Rainbow Six Siege, where the Korean character Dokkaebi is just like dressed like a pop star.
In you were getting shot at.
Like you were getting shot at. Like
no one's wearing leather pants while this is going on.
So I think it's important for us to talk about how developers need to start hiring people in position and putting people in positions of power who can make these changes.
And I'm gonna go.
Go.
Thank you. I'm going to double down, and I'm going to say that loudness, that discourse, if you want to call it that, but that whole like calling out and saying we need to do better, loudly, consistently throughout all months of the year, that is how we get people into the position of power. Because unless we cause tension, unless we cause that friction to happen, there is no impetus for change. So like it sucks. Like I don't like having to complain about things. I don't like it. I like to focus on positive things, but I can't just focus on positive things while negative things happen. I need to focus on those and talk about them so that we can hopefully catch the ear of someone who can make a decision. And maybe it's a small decision of bringing someone up into like a position of power, but those are the steps we're trying to get there.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you.
And I think there's one other thing, like, yes, it's and we see this in D&D, and maybe we should queue up for like a game while we do this. Something quick.
Let's do something quick, yeah.
Let's do an assault.
Sure.
Oh, we can't because John's too low level.
Oh, mom. What level do you have to be to do it?
15, I think.
Damn.
I don't know why. I think it's just because it's random select, so you have to have a certain number of
queue for arena.
No, it's hostile design. That's why. It's
hostile design, yeah.
I think, okay, so one of the things that we should also do, and we'll talk about D&D, is like, like while we can be very critical and loud about D&D, one of the things we also need to do is also not shit on people who like D&D. Right? We could be critical of the property, we could be critical of the content, but we can't, make blanket statements in our mind that people who like D&D are bad, right? And because and yes, Wizards of the Coast has done some things, but they've also done cool things like hiring Kiana and I to write for the new book.
Yeah,
right.
Like hiring
I'm gonna be honest. Like when I got that, when they said, "Hey, we want you to do this," my first thought was, oh shit, my own community, like the Asians Represent community, is gonna flame me for this, right? And that's just the way, I'm not blaming anyone, but that's the way we've kind of Baba Yaga. That's the way.
We're dropping the.
Yeah, let's drop the Asian thing. That's
never.
Now we're just represent.
Now we're just represent.
Cool.
I'm
sorry.
Oh, well, so like that's the thing. We need to also like uplift people who are trying to do good in those companies, right? Yeah. So like like Mackenzie, right? Mackenzie now works for Wizards.
Jesus,
we can't just hate on all Wizards of the Coast staff because we don't like Wizards of the Coast. We have to understand, and I've said this so many times on stream, we have to understand that there are people inside who are trying to do good, right?
Yeah.
And they face a lot of pressure from the top who is saying no, right? So we have to be really careful about not only voicing our criticisms and being loud, like you said, Steve, but we also have to support people who have goals in mind, who are putting a roof over their head, food on their table, trying to do good within those companies. So I think it's very important to say. Oh no, Ting! I'm not putting "drop the Asian thing" on a shirt.
Jesus,
ew. Oh,
That's a code switching T-shirt if I've ever heard one.
This does make me wonder. Not a discussion topic because we don't have time for that. But are there like cultural consultants and sensitivity readers in video games? Like they're starting to be in TTRPGs.
Yes.
Oh no, you mean from people who are moving from TTRPGs to video games, or the other way?
Or like at high res, do they have sensitivity readers looking at designs and ideas?
I don't think they have. I don't know if they have someone in that specific position.
I've noticed that the video game companies that tend to hire like freelancers for like specific projects. Like when Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice came out, they did a lot of like consulting to make sure that they portrayed it in the bounds of the game. You can kind of you can say that they didn't do it super well just because the constraints of the place they put it in weren't going to be great to begin with. But like they did
crap.
Figure. Oh, what?
Never mind.
Good.
Yeah, I'm good.
Cool.
I have to hold on to this potion now.
But that is the thing that like they've done where they've said
Come on,
this
house.
is the way they're going to do that. But it is tricky. And I don't think it happens with nearly as much consistency as it does in RPGs.
Mind if I take this?
Right, yeah.
Oh, nope. Oh, okay.
Did I take that?
I do mind if you take it, Daniel.
Wow.
Yeah, it's fine. You know what? Fine. Come on, house. We're going to the middle. I also didn't grab relic.
Nice.
Oh yeah, if Hi-Res wanted to hire me to tell them all of the things that bother me about their Japanese representation, I'd be into it.
For sure. But I think there's still like a thing about video games right now where there's still like this kind of treating of it as a like.
Oh, Steve, run!
A takedown already? That was quick.
Burner. No mana. All right.
Yeah, there you go. I have ult.
John, I'm sorry, your audio's really low for me right now.
Oh, really? Huh. That's what I want.
Baba Yaga is really hard to play on Arena because I can't see my. Oh, okay.
Good.
Yeah, I'm dead. Heimdall just like hit me into 4 dimensions.
Sorry, friends. See you.
That happened.
Okay, it's okay. We reset. We're good.
Yeah. You know what? It's okay.
How about now? Is that any better?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
Cool. Fantastic.
Okay, I'm gonna.
It was only in like the last minute that it got a little
interesting. Yeah, I don't know what that's about.
Maybe Smite just got too loud.
That's fair.
An enemy is down.
Eat that, Thanatos.
Baba Yaga.
Baba Yaga.
Baba Yaga.
I see.
Bye, Heimdall. Gonna miss you.
But one of the things I wanted to really touch on real quick on that subject of like people doing work is you can't get mad at people for doing the work you want to be done.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right? Like that's
you want change. What are you doing trying to
Heimdall.
Why are you trying to change it, you sellout? Like that's not how that works, okay?
Like I said, that rage,
I'm dead.
you gotta let it go at some point. You gotta let go of that rage.
Hit me rage all the time.
Well, yeah. Again, you have to also support, right?
Yeah.
Oh, they are picking on me. Yeah, we have to support other people in our community who are, again, you're right, trying to. Like, we can't hate on people who, for instance, like Critical Role. I know there are a lot of people who, will immediately be like, oh, Critical Role, they're bad. And like Critical Role is a great way for people to enter, the hobby. Right?
And discuss identities and things like that. They discuss identities. I don't think they do it to the level that I would come comfortable with.
Yeah, but I mean they
gotta start somewhere.
But they also have to work within their own comfort. So right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yep. Oh, okay.
Wait, I got purification. No, that's not purification.
Hey, Heimdall, I just ate your butt.
My butt. Okay, we're good. We're good.
Yeah.
Oh, we're getting dirty now. You were getting dirty now.
Well, we have double Guardian. We're definitely dirty.
Thanatos is coming.
Come here, Heimdall.
Yep. Boop. Done. Should probably.
An enemy is down.
Time to go.
Our allies are
Alright, bye.
Oh, I'm so dead.
Sorry, friend, I'm leaving you.
No, that's fine. That's fair. That's fair. I'm just gonna leave. I'm good.
Okay, cool.
Swoopy wings, we out.
Okay.
Gotta go by.
Oh, hello, house.
So are they magic or physical damage? I think they're physical.
They got a good mix.
Okay, so yeah.
They're mostly physical.
Really? Oh, Heimdall doesn't do is physical.
Yeah, he's a hunter.
Oh, okay.
They have the two
Oh, he's just been playing
magical,
like an assassin,
but
so it's very
Anubis is
confusing.
almost like...
I think he's getting mad that my hook's better than his.
That's funny.
That hook jealousy.
Like look at that hook. What is that?
Oh, no.
All right, here we go. Here we go.
Lead her away.
Okay, John, we're both using our big ults.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to stand back here and fire into line.
Oh,
Bye. Ow. Please no. I didn't mean it.
Running. Oh my God, they're so close to me.
I'm dead. Bye, fam.
Oofa, oofa.
Ow. Okay.
Oh,
This
okay.
was a mistake.
Yup.
Arena's all about mistakes.
It's just
Controlled
constantly
mistakes.
making mistakes.
Oh, Ares, don't touch that mana camp.
Don't you do it. Don't touch my stuff.
Don't touch my stuff. Hey, house, come on.
I need some help back here.
Oh yeah,
we're
on the way.
coming.
Got a bit of an issue. And I'm going through the realms. Excellent.
Enemy is down. We should probably check on them.
We're gonna miss
I
Anubis.
messed that up.
Uh-oh.
Time to go.
Oh, that's an Anubis all.
Your strength has grown.
Oh, thank you.
Whoa.
Fire my L-shaped attack,
Which you have no control over.
which I have no control over.
Wild.
I don't think so, Ares.
Oh, I absolutely think so. Goodbye.
Cowabunga! An enemy is down.
Cool.
Anubis!
Has been slain.
I have ult if we ever want to team fight. I feel like Cthulhu ult and Baba Yaga ult go well together.
The ultimate kind of like, what's going on here?
Yeah,
Hey,
exactly.
Thanatos, what do you got?
Oh,
Gotta go. Oops, never mind.
Man,
Oh God.
Oh,
brothers are
Oh,
goodbye.
did I kill you? I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm very likely to be dead. Yep. Can't do
Time to
anything
leave.
but Ares.
you have been slain.
Man, he's a big boy.
Your ult should be able to,
I can't ult when I.
yeah.
John, you were by yourself.
Because it's
Never
it
mind.
denies movement.
Yeah. I thought it gave you CC immunity, but I actually
Well-
have never played, so I don't know.
But I think if you're already being
CC'd, yeah.
CC'd, it doesn't.
An ally
I
has been
love,
slain.
I love that this game, like, so Heimdall like knocks you through everywhere,
Yeah.
and
It
like
does.
it's not, it's so badly rendered for certain parts of it.
Oh yeah.
The fact that it's that massive of an ult, yeah, I don't know if Smite can really handle it.
I'm with you, John. I'm with you, John. I'm with you.
okay.
I'm with you in
well,
spirit.
As am I. Oh,
Watch out for
Heimdall.
Heimdall flanking us.
Poor choice.
Yeah, I've got it.
What's this crystal thing?
Back
that's
to get to
Heimdall.
the
That's
mind.
Heimdall's.
Oh, okay.
That's part of the Bifrost.
Bifrost.
Yeah.
Or get the Anubis.
Oh, you did. You got him.
Let's go.
Eternal power. Only a fool would dare challenge you.
Ow. 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 F you, I'm,
Nice.
I'm leaving. Oh, I died.
I instinctively run from the Cthulhu stuff because I think it's gonna hurt me.
I know.
I'm sorry.
No,
Oh,
it's
no,
not your
they're-
fault.
Yeah,
there are a handful of characters in this game where you hear or see their abilities and you automatically think it's gonna hurt me.
You're like, nah, I'm out. Okay, thanks, bye.
So,
Bye.
like, Kukulkan's whirlwinds, anything Loki related, everyone's like, it's coming for me, even if it's your teammate.
In Dota, there's only one hero for that, which is great. It's only just the one.
From the 2 times that I've played Dota, I feel like just everything's coming for me.
That's fair.
Oh, what? Good, I'm here. Thank you.
Oh, is that an Ares ult?
I have arrived, yes.
At the chalk.
Bye. I'm going on a vacation. And I'm back and I'm dead.
Hey, fan.
There we go. Revived.
An ally has been slain.
I guess I'll
believe. Oh, my butt.
I need help with this because it's not gonna. Oh, it will stop me. Cool.
I gotcha.
House, do something.
It only keeps walking if they're by it too, so it's that idea of them like pushing it.
Whoa.
Get out of here, Ares. Nobody wants you.
Like, okay. Ooh, actually, really interesting thing I wanna bring up though is singularities of representation.
Oh yeah.
Right, because I think the thing about Critical Role, right, isn't necessarily that I think that it's like, I don't think Critical Role is inherently bad.
No.
But Critical Role has hit that point where it, like D&D, is a thing.
They are the arbiter of the.
Yeah.
Of what D&D is. They are the avatar of D&D.
Yeah, exactly. And like that's on purpose, right? Like that's absolutely a thing that was intended. Fuck off, Anubis. But because of the way that's happened, like you can't like all the things about like this is the home game. It's not. Your home game defines what this game is now. That's not a home game anymore. Right? Like that's important to note. And that's the thing I think that isn't really a thing that they tend to talk about very often.
Yeah, the friends who started is very frustrating for me.
Yep. Like I get it, but you're not.
And I know, like Drew, you're a fan of Critical Role.
All right.
You're like,
And it's like, here's the thing: it's like we can understand that, you know, people like they make mistakes, right?
Are you trying to tell Drew?
No. I'm saying they make mistakes, but like, no. I'm not talking about Drew. I'm talking about Critical Role.
Yeah, I know.
And like we've talked about this a lot, right? Like we can't shit on people for the things that they like. And I see like a lot of people who don't like D&D also kind of, you know, extend that to Critical Role. Be like, oh, I don't like D&D, therefore like anybody who likes Critical Role also fits in that realm of things that I don't like, right?
Sure.
And you know, it makes people feel unwelcome in our hobby, or makes people feel like they can't try a TTRPG.
Yeah, why would they ever want to have a deeper conversation when you're straight up saying you're shit and what you like is shit?
Yeah.
Oh god, Bifrost. I've never. That's so badly rendered. Holy hell.
Yeah, it's
what I'm saying.
I've just never been in it, so now I was like, oh, okay.
Oh, Thanatos, please don't. Please say it. I'm sorry.
Man, I hope my brother.
Hey, no. No, that's a lot of them.
Oh, run away, Chalk's behind you.
I'm good.
I can't run now since I can because bye.
Yeah, the point I'm trying to make is like we need to support each other in the things that we like and help each other make the things we like better.
You can critique the things that you hate without hating the people who like them.
Exactly.
And like honestly, hate is a strong word for CR at this point.
I was gonna say,
yeah, you exist.
Like
you exist. That's.
I'd like to give you a little bit of feedback on that word choice.
Yeah. That's super fair. You can.
And like if I am sure that there are folks who got into Critical Role and then got into D&D and then found us.
Yeah.
Right, and that would not have happened if not for Critical Role. Oh, John just went all scary mode. Okay.
Yeah.
Sure, let's participate in this.
Oh, Heimdall can put you in their fountain. I don't like that.
Yeah, the selection of where you land after going through the Bifrost though is random, so you can't
bad luck.
that.
Yeah,
definitely.
Get dodged, Thanatos! Oh,
they're coming for you.
I die anyways.
Get dodged. Spoke too soon.
Oh,
wow,
I'm trying to.
Oh, good hook.
Don't worry, I got him.
He went deep. That's fine.
Yeah.
Really wanted that. Okay.
After playing Conquest so much, the rate at which we gain gold in this boat confuses me.
Yeah.
Yup.
Okay, let's. I'm not gonna jinx it.
Yeah. Don't say
Yes,
it.
please don't.
We need a win.
Now, if you folks are watching, I want to know, like, do you want us to stream more video games? Do you...
Yeah, we could like build it schedule.
I'm having a great time. I think I said earlier, I hope this is entertaining for other people because I'm having fun. Ow.
Oh my god, I'm gonna die.
Not today.
Price of one. Your strength has grown.
Ow.
What?
Heimdall hurts.
Hello.
Alright, Miles is up for this next fight though.
At 50 seconds.
Honestly, like we take.
Billy
minions,
wants
I
us to
think
do
we'll win.
more video games.
You can switch it up, 2 different games.
Play some
By
more
we, I mean-
competitive World War Z.
Oh, and ruin your winning streak of 100%.
100%. Well, one time. It's not one time. It's 100%.
Damn.
You can have 2 things at the same time there. It's 100% of one.
No,
Listen, Emma, we've never lost.
We've never lost.
Competitive. We've never lost.
Uh-huh.
Alright, my CC's down for 8.
We are the faces of competitive World War Z.
Right.
Yeah,
The community of
Alright.
8 people. Sorry, 6. It was 3-on-3.
Okay, I think we need to start the fight though if we're gonna do this because we're. So
I've got all. Oh, okay. Oh, Jesus.
Did I scare you?
Yeah, you scared me.
All right, we just got. We
I'm
have to
initiating.
focus.
Yeah, we gotta go.
Yeah,
Go.
grab the minions.
Go,
Yeah.
go, go. Yeah, that's fine.
Ares is looking to pop us all by the looks of it.
Ulting. There we
Nailed it.
go.
Hey.
Well done, well done.
Nice.
Good teamwork.
We did it!
Hail Mary.